It's time for the talk about tuning. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of how to build your MR16DDT or Juke or Pulsar or Clio. You guys are popping up all over the place. Today we're going to be talking about tuning, and I'm going to specifically talk about tuning in the United States just because obviously it's what I'm more familiar with. So now, what is tuning? Tuning is the act of gaining more horsepower out of a vehicle through modification of ECU parameters, and by ECU parameters I mean maps. That would be these grid things that you see all over the place that look like total gibberish. You have no idea what they are. So what a tuner does is they put your car in a dyno, or they take some data logging, which is information that you send to them from driving the car, and they look at your ECU parameters and they adjust things like ignition timing, fuel, boost pressure, cam phasing, and a whole bunch of other things in order to get more horsepower and more torque out of your engine. I'm not going to go into how to tune your car because if you are not a professional, I do not suggest doing it yourself, as you can blow cars up. It's a painful lesson to learn. You don't want to blow up your own car or your buddy's car. I've done it. So now for the MR16DDT, at least here in the United States, there's two ways you can go about tuning it. The first way is a company called UpRev, and the second way is a company called EcuTech, or ECU Tech, or however you want to pronounce it, because this is a free country if you're watching in the United States. So what are the differences between UpRev and EcuTech? Well, it's really a software difference. The hardware looks different. EcuTech uses a security key that's in a USB port, whereas UpRev has that built into the actual OBD cable itself. So the hardware, that's about the only difference. The software is where the real differences are. UpRev is very user-friendly. It gets right to the point. It's the things you need to modify in order to get horsepower, and there's different map setups and things like that through UpRev, whereas EcuTech is very in-depth. There's a lot of things that you can access that really you're never going to actually use in order to tune the MR16DDT. They do have a little more options as far as CVT tunability, but it's nothing that's going to make your CVT hold any more power. Sorry guys. Question I get all the time, you guys message me on Instagram and Facebook all the time asking me this: which do I prefer, UpRev or EcuTech? Personally, I'm a fan of UpRev. I've come into this community on UpRev for my B15 Spec V. I've used UpRev at places I've worked. It's a simple software to use. It's very straight to the point. There's no key loading or getting licenses that are one-time use only or anything like that. It's very user-friendly. It's very customer-friendly. Now, I'm not saying EcuTech is not good software. The tuning software is awesome. If you're familiar with it, you can get great tunes out of it. It's just not my personal cup of tea. Now, when it comes to getting your car tuned, this is a very important thing. Mail-in tunes are not great tunes. Not that they won't work, not that they're not safe, you're just not going to get the most bang for your buck out of a mail-in tune. There's people that have their stage tunes, 1, 2, 3, whatever tunes. It's generic, it's designed to be a safe tune for all vehicles, so you could have 100,000 miles in your car, you could have 100 miles in your car, and the tune is going to be uploaded identical. Custom tunes, while they work and they're better than your regular stage 1, 2, or 3 tune, again, not the best thing to do because the data that you are giving the tuner is coming from performance pulls on the street. It's not a controlled environment. You have different air pressures, you have different ambient air temperatures, you have different wind loads in front of the car. The amount of speed you can build up is definitely limited. You put a car in a dyno, you can run it up to 140 miles an hour and nobody's going to bat an eye. So I always tell people, if you're going to get a tune, if you're interested in getting a tune, spend the extra $400 or whatever it is and get the tune done on a dyno in controlled conditions where you can also see your power in torque gains. You can't see those with a mail-in tune. Now I've been mentioning this word data logging. What is data logging? Well, Data logging is where you have the car driving under load, so on a dyno or on the street. You're actually recording certain information coming out of the computer. Typically you want to record your wideband air fuel ratio sensor, engine RPM, engine load, ignition timing, speed. There's pretty much anything that affects the way the engine operates, and you take that data file that you collect when you do the data logging and you send it to the tuner, and that's where you get your mail-in tunes. Unless you're doing it on a dyno, and then the tuner can watch it real time and they can edit real time. And that brings me to the next point about dyno tuning and mail-in tunes. The reason mail-in tunes are also so limited is certain companies that do mail-in tunes, you're allowed 4 retunes. So you send in 4 different data logs and they send you updates in between each one, and then after that you have to start paying. Where if you go to a dyno, they're going to do 30 or 40 pulls until they get the tune right, they get the most horsepower out of it they can. Which is very important because you're actually getting a more detailed tune, you're getting more detailed data and detailed information on your car. The more information you have and the better tune that you have, the less likely you're going to have problems in the future. So let me know down below, what do you have for a tune? Do you have UpRev, EcuTech? If you're from another part of the world, what do you guys have for tuning software? I'd love to know. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and hit that like button, and go check out our Facebook page that we have going on. Put the link down in the description.